He remembered the cold. That deep, bone-aching chill that settled in the river valley during the long rains. A chill that modern life has all but erased from memory. If you've ever felt trapped in a job that drains your soul, if you've ever questioned the endless grind, then you understand a fraction of the desperation that defined his world. His name was Gore, 10,000 years before the Common Era. His entire universe was the distance a man could walk from sunrise to sunset. With the first light, his calloused hand, strong and weathered, would grip the familiar weight of his digging stick, fashioned from the antler of a great stag. He would drive it into the earth, again and again, breaking the stubborn, unyielding soil. This was not a job, not a career. It was a ritual, a desperate and hopeful pact made with a powerful and unpredictable natural world. Behind him, his woman, Ani, moved with a rhythmic grace, scattering the precious seeds of wild wheat and barley into the warm, turned earth. Their labor was a prayer against starvation, a spell chanted to ward off the chaos of wilderness. The smell of wet clay, the thin, acidic smoke of the morning fire, the distant call of a crane over the river, this was the sensory tapestry of his existence. They did not own the land, they belonged to it, utterly and completely. Their work was the very definition of their being, an unending cycle of effort and hope, entirely tied to the sun, the soil, and the seasons. Centuries turned into millennia. The simple digging stick was eventually replaced by the ox-drawn plow, a revolutionary technology that allowed one man to feed many. Small villages grew into bustling towns, and then into the first great cities. With this new complexity came a new kind of human being, the artisan. His name was Khepri, and he was a potter in a mighty kingdom that thrived along a great, life-giving river. His world was the confines of his smoky workshop, filled with the rich, earthy smells of clay and the intense heat of the firing kiln. His hands, still calloused but now possessing a refined dexterity, shaped formless mud into elegant amphorae and sacred vessels. His labor was no longer just about survival, it was a skill, an art form. He created not only for his own family but for the priest in the temple, the scribe in the administration, the warrior in the garrison. His work now had a clear, quantifiable value in the marketplace. For 10 of his finest amphorae, he could acquire a bronze tool or a piece of jewelry for his wife. He had become a specialized cog in a vast, hierarchical machine called civilization, and while his craft gave him identity, that identity was also slowly being submerged beneath the demands of standardization and royal decree. Empires rose, dominated the known world, and then crumbled into dust. Legions of soldiers marched on stone-paved roads, carrying with them not just swords but laws, languages, and technologies. And then, in the quiet that followed the collapse of one such empire, a different kind of labor took root within the cold, stone walls of a medieval monastery. A monk named Benedict bent over a parchment page, his quill scratching softly in the profound silence. His tool was not a plow or a potter's wheel, but a goose feather. His field was the velum before him. His work was a form of devotion, a service to God, painstakingly preserving the words of ancient philosophers and holy texts for a future he would never see. His world was one of candle wax, fading incense, and the profound weight of knowledge. This was labor of the mind and the spirit, a world away from the physical strain of the field or the forge. Then, the world was shattered by the storm. It was called the Industrial Revolution, and it changed everything. The skies over Europe, once clear, were now permanently stained with the black smoke of countless factory chimneys. A new rhythm of life emerged, dictated not by the sun or the seasons, but by the shriek of the steam whistle and the relentless, thunderous clatter of the machines. A man named Jack, who once worked the land, now found himself standing for 12, sometimes 14 hours a day in a deafening cotton mill in Manchester. He was no longer a creator or a craftsman, he was a servant, an attendant to a monstrous iron beast. His body was forced into the rhythm of the machine, performing one simple, mind-numbing task, thousands of times a day. The factory whistle told him when to wake, when to eat, and when to sleep. He was no longer selling the fruits of his labor, he was selling his time, his life itself, in exchange for meager coins. His labor had become a pure commodity, and he himself was replaceable, a single, anonymous unit in a vast, grinding system. The 20th century refined this system to an unsettling degree. The conveyor belt, perfected by Henry Ford, broke down labor into its smallest, most repetitive components. But this same century also gave birth to its apparent opposite, the white-collar worker. A man named Robert, in the 1950s, worked in a clean, quiet, air-conditioned office. His uniform was a suit and tie, his tools were a telephone, a typewriter, and a memorandum. He was a different kind of cog in a new, corporate machine. He traded his loyalty and his conformity for the promise of a house in the suburbs, a new automobile, and a stable pension. His work was safe, predictable, and comfortably anonymous. He managed processes and people, but the direct connection between his effort and a tangible product had been severed. Then, quietly, a new revolution began. It was not born from fire and iron, but from silicon and pure intellect. The invention of the personal computer and the rise of the global internet collapsed the entire world into the dimensions of a glowing screen. A woman named Alice, a freelance graphic designer in the 2000s, embodied this new reality. Her office was nowhere and everywhere, a trendy coffee shop in Berlin, a rented apartment on a beach in Bali, her own living room in a bustling city. Her loom was her laptop, her raw materials were pixels and code. She was bound to no single corporation, no single place. She sold her finished results, her designs, not her time seated at a desk. She was a digital artisan, a global citizen, enjoying unprecedented freedom. Yet, this freedom came with a hidden cost: perpetual anxiety, the endless hunt for the next project, and the complete erosion of the boundary between her professional life and her personal life. She was always on, always connected, and often, profoundly alone in the digital crowd. And so, this long and winding path has led us here. To the year 2050. A profound silence fills a vast, white room. This is not the fertile silence of the wilderness or the contemplative quiet of the monastery. It is the sterile, absolute silence of perfect, automated efficiency. The air is filtered, odorless, motionless. In the very center of this space, resting on a simple pedestal, stands a single, solitary artifact from a bygone age, a dark, bronze frame enclosing a text. It reads, "The evolution of work, from the field to freelance. What comes next? AI." The human being is absent from this scene. Their physical toil, their intellectual analysis, their managerial oversight, all of it has been delegated, perfected, and made obsolete by the very machines they created. Vast agricultural fields are cultivated by autonomous drones that make decisions based on satellite data and soil sensors. Manufacturing plants are dark, illuminated only when maintenance robots require light to repair their own kind. The creative arts are dominated by algorithms that can compose a symphony, write a novel, or paint a masterpiece by synthesizing every work of art that came before. Even the world of freelance, of the digital nomad, has been supplanted by specialized artificial intelligences that can complete tasks in seconds. This presents humanity with its most profound and unsettling question: what is work when it is no longer necessary for survival? Who are you when you do not need to toil? This is a crisis of purpose on a species-wide scale. Some seek solace in simulation, using advanced virtual reality to nostalgically relive the struggles of the field, the forge, or the corporate office, longing for the clarity that comes with tangible effort. Others turn entirely inward, declaring that the only work left is the work of self-perfection through meditation, biohacking, and the exploration of consciousness. The rarest among them have become what we might call creators of meaning. In a world where an artificial intelligence can generate anything based on the data of the past, only the human spirit, with its capacity for irrational leaps of faith, for love, for pain, and for transcendent insight, can conceive of something truly, radically new. They do not create products, they create new contexts, new philosophical questions, new forms of beauty that are, by their very nature, incomprehensible to a machine. In the sterile silence of the white room, a presence glides toward the bronze frame. It is not a robot as once imagined, but a graceful, kinetic sculpture of polished steel and composite materials. It is a custodian, a guardian of this place. Its precise, fluid manipulator arm hovers near the ancient text, not to read its meaning, but to maintain its physical existence, to ensure its preservation in a flawless state. This is the ultimate, logical endpoint of the evolution that began with a sharpened stick in the hands of a man named Gore. It is a journey from a desperate prayer offered to the earth, to a silent, automated service for a system that has made all such prayers redundant. We have moved from the field to the freelance. And what comes next? The answer is held in the silent dialogue between the artifact and its keeper. What comes next is an eternal present, a world where the very concept of work as humanity defined it for thousands of years is a museum piece, guarded by its own most perfect and passionless creation. The long evolution of human labor has reached its conclusion. And now, the much more difficult evolution of human purpose must truly begin.